Hi, welcome to this video. I want to respond once again by way of Zach George and many trainers who are just like him. When it comes to trying to label anyone who would have a reasonable objection, okay, to this idea, by way of approaching training as a learning-based exercise and all the inherent problems that are generated by way of its application. And again, this is where I talk about labels. This is where guys like Zach George, you look at his social media, he's always talking about trying to bring in other issues to try to label those who would, dare challenge this corrupt and flawed ideology as dog abusers. Okay, it's totally ridiculous. I mean, it's as if, and this is the issue when you get into this whole thing about why it is right from the very beginning. Okay, there's so many things I can talk about, and I do talk about why this idea that training's a learning-based exercise is not based in fact, it's not based in science, okay? It's inherently flawed. And why is these trainers can't confront it? They can't confront the problems because they've sold their souls to it, okay? They've been turned over to it, all right? And this whole thing about appearances, okay? So understand they exploit everything, okay? It's out of context. And this is why it's so common for people to invest their time, their money, their energy into this idea, only to discover their relationship with their dog hasn't actually improved. It hasn't gotten any better. And these ideologues, the first thing they do will blame the dog or medicate the dog. There's something wrong with the dog, or just live with it. And people are, avoiding situations for the entire life of the dog. And it's incredible. So again, when you talk about those who, like Zach George, who attempt to label, okay, there's your sign right there. It's like, because again, I put up all sorts of information for people to show, hey, this is, why it's flawed. You can show it very clearly. But these trainers, they can't deal with it because they've left themselves nowheres to go. Okay, understand that. So when I put out, content, put out information, understand that I already knew this like many years ago. These trainers were never going to confront it, right? Because that's the problem, is that they're not incentivized to do the right thing. Why would you do the right thing when doing the wrong thing means that you're actually going to lose money because of the culture, right, that's been created. You're going to lose all your, your support. Your pride is going to take a massive hit, okay? And you're going to have to basically humble yourself, right? This is something that's not going to happen with Zach George or any of these balanced dog trainers. Forget it. It's never going to happen. So this is why things are getting worse and worse and worse in the dog training world. I go through all the controversies. Look at them all. They're all unresolved. These trainers aren't like going through a controversy and stepping back saying, okay, I got to figure this out. I mean, I want to understand why these things are happening. These trainers aren't doing that. I put all the information out on a silver platter for people to, but we've come to a point now where to accept the truth, it requires a trade-off, a massive trade-off, right? And so this is the whole thing about, science, right? It's not real science. Real science confronts the issues. This is not science. And so all these dogs are being sacrificed on the altar of this ideology over and over and over again. And it's not going to stop. Because again, you look at the dynamics of this, where it does play into people's emotions, right? And it plays into appearances. Because the whole framework for what defines a standard for these trainers is based on superficial response. Okay? It does not connect the dots properly by way of a dog's decision-making process. Okay, it's all, and again, that's why I keep using the parenting example. If you do what these trainers are doing with a selfish child and just immediately launch into, generating some superficial responses, you should expect the same result, and you do get the same result. It's a joke. but it's a sad joke. So all to say that guys like George, they can throw around all the labels they want, but understand that there's certain people that can actually see through it all. Okay, I mean they know what they're doing. Okay, these trainers are outright lying to the public, and people can actually see what they're doing. It's like, and it's no different. It's like you go to watching a person do a magic trick, right? There's people are fooled oftentimes because it's distraction, right? It's like, watch this hand, don't watch the other hand. So there's people sitting there, a few that can actually know what's happening because they're looking, right? They're looking. They're not being misdirected. That's all this is. These labels and stuff, and what's guys is it's trying to misdirect, saying like, okay, we're not going to talk about this because if we're to talk about it, then we're in serious trouble. Okay, we're going to lose everything. And this is the way the dog training world's set up. We can't talk about it. So just watch this and buy into the blame shifting. Buy into it's the dog's fault. Buy into all of it. Just keep feeding us all the money, feeding us all the attention. Liking our pages, social media. That's all this is. That's exactly where we're at in the dog training world. It's a complete and utter, I call it, social disgrace. And guys like George are right at the top of that. Thanks for watching.